I think I'm live. Woohoo! Now, I have to apologize for confusing everyone, including myself, because I thought I could do something really clever. And I probably can, but I think it takes a little bit of time. I was just going to go through Zoom, and I was going to bring lots of you on Zoom, but I didn't give you enough notice, and I didn't have enough notice to do it properly. Apologize for that. Never mind. Never mind. Hopefully, enough of you will have got the notifications that I was coming on here, and I'm going to talk about self-sabotage because I think it's time to knock it on the head. I'm admiring myself, to be honest, because I took about 5 minutes to throw some makeup on, and I'm amazed at how well it's worked. So whether you are here live, and it would be lovely to see you live, or whether you're just watching this another time, great to be with you. And, I hate it when you come on and then you look and you think, I should have put some flowers there. Oh, I shouldn't have that big bowl in the corner. I need a set designer, really. Okay, so I know there's some people who are probably hanging out over on Zoom. Hopefully, they will realize I've made a mistake. Hopefully, they will just intuitively know to come over here on YouTube. Yeah, I think the moral is be prepared. Put a little bit of time in. And I very often just don't do that. But anyway, enough waffle. If you're here, I would love to see you. Just say hi in the chat box and let me know. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this on a proper, regular basis, just like set the times up. I know, we're here. It's all good. That's what we get to do. Otherwise, sorry, I'm just going to get a drink. It's all a bit haphazard. And I'm convinced that consistency is crucial. Hey, lovely to see you there. Good evening. How are you? I'm just chit-chatting away to myself, talking about how I messed up with, Zoom and here, but I have a lovely lady called Melanie who's going to help me with this stuff, get it straight. And I am going to do regular times. I'm thinking Tuesday and Wednesday. What time is it now? 7:00. Yeah. And I think having the set time, here's a question. Would 5:00 be good? If I did something like last night, I did a Zoom between 5:00 and 7. How I did 2 hours, I don't know, but the time flew and it was just great. Such a great time. I think it was on this theme of self-sabotage as well. Actually, it was just a coaching zone. It was like a coffee with Fiona thing. People were there asking questions, which I love. And then I could just, go off on that particular theme and go into it. Darling. Fabulous as always. Believe me, it's the makeup. Lots of it. What do you think? Do you think 7:00 UK time is the best time? Or do you think 5:00? Personally, I love 5:00 because it's that little bit earlier. But if that doesn't work for people, I can handle 7:00. What do you think? 5:00 or 7:00 UK time? What would be best for you? I'm just reading your comments there. Oh, hi, Melanie. Lovely to see you there. Yeah, Melanie, we'll have to figure this Zoom and YouTube thing out. Definitely. Just requires a little bit of thinking about. So, my darlings, I'm here to talk about something that shouldn't exist. But hey, you could probably say that about a lot of things, couldn't you? Something that definitely should not exist. And something that I think probably exists more often for women. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about something that could actually ruin your life. I'm talking about something that could stop you living the life that you're meant to live. That could stop you making the most of your life, even just blowing the opportunities that come your way. I'm talking, of course, about self-sabotage. Doesn't it sound crazy that we would actually get in our own way? Can you believe that? Can anybody relate to that? I definitely can, if I'm being honest. I mean, look, I'm more conscious now, so I get to make choices, but I absolutely can relate to that. Holding yourself back, standing in your own way, thinking you're not ready, thinking you're not good enough, always assuming somebody else knows more, knows better, all of that awful stuff. And I'll tell you what really shocked me yesterday when I was doing the coaching session. There was a lady on there, lovely lady. I'm going to guess that lady is probably about 65, 64, 65. Really, come on. Really, come on. At that age, if you are still holding yourself back, second guessing yourself, sabotaging yourself, it's time. It really is time to call quits on the BS. I would have, if I'd been standing there, I would have literally given her a gentle shake. I talk about a shug. People in my groups know what this is. It's a gentle shake. It's a hug, but it's a bit of a shake because it's a come on, wake up, come on, enough. So here's what I think. I'm thinking I would like to actually do this in depth over 5 days. I am thinking that I'm going to do a boot camp or a challenge, whichever we decide to call it. And it's about, I'm going to call it something like I'm going to call it imposter syndrome. Be something like imposter syndrome forever. Do you like that concept? Every day at the same time, I show up and I teach for 45 minutes to an hour on a particular theme, a particular area that is where self-sabotage, where imposter syndrome could show up in your life. In relation to money, for example, in relation to your vision for your life. And of course, strategies and ways to overcome that. I really want to call it out and, be done with it. I mean, like forever. So I want to give you strategies that I know in my heart of hearts from my experience of working with myself and working with, my God, thousands and thousands of people over 25 years, You get to know what works. You just get to know what works. So does that sound good to you? We'll do it over 5 days. And we'll build a community around it. I'll get on with it, set the dates tomorrow, but in about 2.5 weeks, about 2 weeks time. So I'm excited about that. So enough chitter chatter from me. Let's get on with this. So self-sabotage. How can you tell that it's showing up in your life? Number one, you're missing out on opportunities. And what's worse, you're missing out on opportunities. What's possibly even worse is you are playing a part in keeping those opportunities at bay, or when they come, just not following up on them or making the most of them. So I spoke to someone yesterday in the coaching session, beautiful woman who has won a couple of awards for her fashion designing, like Student of the Year and Most Promising Newcomer and all of that good stuff. And she can see how she has not followed up on those opportunities. Because if you have issues, if you have personal issues that are creating havoc with your identity, your sense of yourself, when you are faced with potential success, guess what's going to happen? All that stuff is going to rise to the surface. Now, I know it can be different in every situation, but think about it. If you have a concern about being seen, about being judged, about being visible. And you win an award, and then you win another award, and potential is starting to open up for you. And that potential is going to mean that you're very visible, you're very seen, you're very out there. That fear, that confusion that you have about being seen and visible is just going to rise to the surface. And that fear is going to win. Unless you have a way of handling it, of processing it, evolving beyond it, that fear is going to pull you back. Isn't that tragic? And I'm going to share something with you I don't think I've shared publicly ever. I did this very in-depth personal leadership course recently in the US, obviously on Zoom, but it was very confrontational and thorough, shall we say. And I was really amazed to see that I had something going on for me. I mean, like after all this time and after all the personal development and coaching, and the Lord knows that I've done for myself, but I had something, and it was underneath everything. It's just underneath everything. And it was something that a close relative used to say to me on a regular basis as I was growing up. Now, I can absolutely, looking back, understand why that person would have said this thing. I can. That person was very stressed at the time. I was a precocious girl and probably a darn nuisance and a thorn in her side for all sorts of reasons. So I absolutely understand it completely. Don't think I'm blaming this person. I'm not. But I really got to see that I had absorbed this particular thing that she used to say to me. And when I saw that, I also got to see that that was absolutely a source of a degree of self-sabotage in my own life. I'm going to tell you what it was in a second. And I saw that that thing was definitely what made it difficult for me to have more friendships in my life, more business partnerships, more just being out there, more visible, right? So what was that thing? So this close relative used to say to me, because I was quite popular. I played sport, played games. I was, out there doing all sorts of public speaking stuff, So I was always out there. And this person used to say to me, yes, but if they knew what you were really like, if they knew what you were really like, if they knew what you were like at home. And I got to see that was underneath everything for me. That was like my greatest concern. And I can tell you that when Be Your Own Life Coach came out 21 years ago, and I was doing a lot of public engagements and book signing and all sorts of stuff. The bigger the gig, like I remember going to the alternatives space, beautiful church in St. James's in Piccadilly, London, and the queue was like all down Piccadilly. The taxi driver was taking me there and he said, look, there must be some celebrity thing going on. I thought, oh my Lord, it's me. Oh my God. And it really threw me into great anxiety, because I can see now why that was. Because all that acclaim and recognition, applause, if you like, it brought up in me a confusion and a conflict. Because of course that phrase, yes, but if they knew what you were really like. Can you see that, guys? I am sharing this with you. I'm being extremely honest because I want you to understand that this stuff can play havoc with your life. So I'm encouraging you to consider this for yourself. I can tell you that it was immensely freeing, like so freeing for me to see that underneath everything was that phrase. And I could see how that would play out in my life, had played out in my life. People would want to be friends. And I would just, not even consciously, I would hold back, but not knowing why. And it was like, well, there was two parts of me. There was the public persona. And then there was the, yes, but if they knew what I was really like. So I felt torn. So opportunities, big sign of an element of self-sabotage, that you are not taking advantage of opportunities, that you're not creating opportunities, that you see you have had opportunities and you have not followed through or made full use, taken advantage of those openings and those opportunities. The second thing is energy, believe it or not. I see people get sick. I see people have migraines. And to me, that's often a sign of just not taking care of yourself, of just not enough self-care, just not enough taking care of yourself. Everybody else gets taken care of. And you don't, which of course is down to you. That's a form of self-sabotage, because if you haven't got the energy, to live your life and be out there doing all those lovely things that you want to do, then you're very restricted. You're just restricted. Third thing is comparing yourself to others. That's awful. I mean, that's awful for your energy. You can feel that. By the way, if this is making sense, give me a yes in that chat box. So comparing yourself to others is just the most immediate. It's just the fastest way to drain your energy. It just sabotages your energy in that moment. And the truth is, there's always going to be someone who's bigger, slimmer, smarter, in whatever way you regard as smart. When you do that, it's an awful thing to do to your spirit. So you get to be conscious about this stuff so that it doesn't run you. You get to make choices, therefore, when you notice this is happening. And you get to come back and reframe the way you're looking at yourself, the way you're looking at your place where you are right now, and cutting yourself some slack, acknowledging where you've got to, where you've come from, maybe the struggles that you've had, the difficulties, and just basically not draining your spirit. Another sign is you're not experiencing abundance. You don't have abundance. You don't have the money, the prosperity that you would like. You are at a ceiling and you feel stuck at that ceiling, whether you're employed or whether you're an entrepreneur. There's just a level of money that you feel you're stuck at, and you just you can't see how you could get to that level of prosperity and ease that you see other people at. And then finally, here's a really interesting sign: you're isolated. That's an awful place to be, ladies and gents, to be isolated. Now, you might be thinking that you should be able to do everything yourself, make everything work. And that, believe me, is not just flawed logic. It's a flawed strategy. Makes no sense. That's tremendous. Sorry, I had this protein shake before I came on here. But that's tremendous self-sabotage. Makes life so hard, so hard. You'll never have the success that you could have if you stay isolated because you're trying to do everything yourself. You're trying to create everything on your own personal steam. It's a lonely road. I don't encourage you to do that. I encourage you to make sure that you are in a really healthy, positive environment with people. And by the way, I keep reminding myself to do this. My email, and I'll put it around this video afterwards, is Fiona at FionaHarrold.com, because we have a new resource. Some of you already know this, you're doing this with us already, but basically where you're in a small group of people. It's like a small mastermind of about 5 people, and it's fabulous. Pulls you forward, supports you. It's the only way to be, guys. So do that with us, or, create something of your own. For me, the perfect, absolutely ideal scenario is to be in a small group with about 5 other people. Those people have to be dynamic. They have to be go-giving people. They're pulling you forward. They want the best for you. They're like your ultimate best friends. They're cheering you on. Melanie, here I can see, is in one of those, we call it a coaching pod. And also we have one of my team, one of our coaches in there who's coaching you, pulling you forward. Here's what's most important. You get to be accountable. Because how many times do you get excited about doing something, creating a change, going after something? You commit to it, and then it doesn't happen. Now, the reason it doesn't happen, there's no mystery to it, let's face it, is one doesn't follow through. Very often, life gets in the way. Things happen. You get distracted. There's some drama coming in left field. It's like there's always something. An old mentor of mine used to say, kids and cancer. Kids and cancer. It sounds awful. But it's like, how many times have you committed to something and then, when you are supported to follow through, you are following through regardless of the challenges and the dramas and the distractions. You get supported to stay committed and to live in possibility of handling what needs to be handled and keeping your commitments to yourself. Otherwise, what happens? You're likely to self-sabotage and just allow yourself to get totally swayed and distracted by things, other people's priorities, other people's needs, other people's dramas. And that's not to, diminish some of the challenges that we have around us. But I am just saying, staying on track is a challenge. It just is. Now, keep this in mind as well. When you look, I was thinking about this morning, when you look at the most powerful people on earth, they're usually men. You look at the 7 wealthiest men on the planet. What do? They meet up. They meet up. They are joined together in mutual support. They make decisions and they take actions that influence our lives. There is strength in numbers. If it works for the likes of Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, etc., Mark Zuckerberg, these are the wealthiest, most powerful men on the planet. They're not isolated. They're not isolated. They come together. They make decisions together. They are aligned with each other's mutual benefit. Think about it. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's wonderful book, he interviewed America's millionaires to find out common themes for success. They were in a mastermind together. Andrew Carnegie, fantastically wealthy, Scotsman in America. He was America's first billionaire. His number one strategy for success, he said, it was like his secret weapon, if you like, that's what he said, was the mastermind principle. Small group of people coming together to support each other for their mutual benefit. That means you're never alone, seriously, which means that you never get to feel down for long, which means you don't waste energy or time. You just don't. You recover faster because you've always got somewhere to go to get picked up. And sometimes we can pick ourselves up, of course. Sometimes a walk in nature. Sometimes chatting with your cat. Is that just me? Sometimes you can pick yourself up, of course, but other times what's so great is to know that you've got that place to go to with that challenge, that conundrum. And you've got minds coming together. So the sum is greater than the individual parts. So if I was to point to one thing that would have the biggest impact for you in terms of letting go, breaking out of self-sabotage, I would say that it's this. Do not let yourself get isolated. Do not try to do life. Do not try to do life on your own. Do what the most powerful men on the planet do and have always done. Be part of a small group of people joined together for mutual support. Personally, what I believe what really increases the power of that is to have a coach pulling you forward, leading the way, pulling you forward. And it just adds that extra ingredient in there. Is this making sense? Excellent. Tell me. And there is an extra component as well I want to throw in here in terms of self-sabotage. And I didn't think about listing it, but now that I'm here with you, I think what makes life really difficult is to feel that you're doing it on your own and you are not connected. You don't feel connected to a source higher than yourself, to a source higher than yourself. You see that as God, the universe, the divine, however you want to see that. If you are feeling that you are here on your own, regardless, apart from the mastermind, apart from other people, but if you don't have that other perspective, if you don't feel that you can call on and rely on and have a resource in a higher power, in my experience, that makes life more difficult. Just makes life more difficult. Because here's the thing. Was it Einstein that said, Albert Einstein, oh God, I can't remember. Somebody really smart said that the most important decision to be made for any one of us to make is whether we live in a hostile or a benign universe. Now, I think, tell me if you agree with me, I think if you cultivate a relationship with a higher power, that you feel you can turn to, that you feel you can pray to, and ask for help, ask for guidance, and feel that connection and feel that support. I feel if you have that perspective, you're going to feel that you're in a benign universe. Universe has got your back, if you like. Title of a book. I was going to say it's a very good book. I'm sure it is. I haven't read it, but it's a very good title for a book. On the other hand, if you feel like this is it, just you, and that you get to just, dissolve into dust, and that's the end of you, I could imagine that could leave you feeling that the universe is a pretty hard, cold place. You wouldn't have that perhaps deeper meaning, grander perspective. So I put it to you that part of ending self-sabotage, I could talk for hours on this. And that's why I think we'll do something over 5 days. And what I was about to say, I really believe that part of ending self-sabotage is to strengthen your connection to spirit, strengthen your connection to whatever word, concept, or phrase you have, to a higher power, because then you have access. I mean, you really do have access to a higher power. So you're not just going through life in your own steam. You get to plug into that bigger battery, that bigger source. And I know from experience, you will feel the difference. Please don't take my word for it. And also, I hope I'm not patronizing anyone here, because I'm sure many of you already do this. I'm just saying I got to really see this difference a couple of years ago for myself, from not doing that and then doing it. Real dramatic difference. So I'm sure that you're watching this and you're already doing this. If you're not, give it a go. Keep it simple, give it a go. Don't take my word for anything that I say. You get to try it and you get to apply it. So I just love this idea of doing this and self-sabotage forever boot camp. Now, do you like the word boot camp or do you like the word challenge? We're going to do that. I've decided we're going to do it in just over 2 weeks. And we'll do it every single day for an hour. And I'll teach on a theme. And I'm so excited about that. Yeah. Don't be isolated, darling, honestly. What's the cost of being isolated? I don't know your exact name there, but I know you're there. What's the cost of being isolated? Think about it. Because when you're ready to create a change, here's what really helps. It really helps to connect to the cost. Really helps to connect to the cost of that way of being, that habit, that behavior. It really helps to see how that is costing you, what it's costing you in your life. What's the price that you are paying for perhaps staying isolated? What is the price that you're paying? What are you missing out on? What's it costing you? Yeah, put it in the chat box. Let me see. Here's what I'm curious about, and this is a question for everyone. What's this self-sabotage costing you in your life? And this is great for you to connect to this, because you can start to make conscious choices from this moment onwards. And then when we do our challenge, our boot camp together, that is really going to be deep dive into ending it once and for all. Once and for all. So I'm going to give you really great strategies. I'll have plenty of time to, teach deeply on this and help you personally and take your questions and everything. So yeah, everything starts with a commitment. Everything starts with a commitment. Commitment's not enough in and of itself, by the way, because the action, the follow through, is the really crucial thing. That's why I'm a big believer in accountability. accountability. I did this course many years ago, like 25, 30 years ago. And then it was called the Forum. When it started, many, many years ago, it was called EST. And it was very controversial. EST was this very controversial training because it was so, well, some people might call it rigid, strong, like, you were in that hotel room for like hours and hours and hours over the weekend. And let's just say you were not encouraged to leave the room, except at the specific break times. And if you were to leave the room, you would be challenged for why you were leaving at that point in time. And maybe what the speaker had said may have triggered something in you. Anyway, so when I did it actually wasn't that different from that, come to think about it. There was the set breaks that you were encouraged to only leave the room during those times. But here's the thing. So I spent 3 days, 3 long days. We're talking 10, 11, midnight in a hotel room in London with 300 other people. I loved it because I just loved the challenging of your beliefs, attitudes, behavior, everything. I loved it. And then at the end, 11 o'clock on Sunday night, the trainer on stage said, "So how are you all feeling?" And of course, we all went, "Woohoo, woohoo, amazing, woohoo." And he said, "So how long do you think you're going to feel this way?" And we were sort of looking at each other slightly confused. And we're like, "Forever, forever." And he said, "Okay, I'll tell you." He said, "So I do this in different countries every weekend. People are the same the world over. They do exactly what you're doing now on Sunday evening, everywhere else. And here's the thing, this level of momentum, this motivation that you have is not enough." We're like really confused now. "It will be tailing off by Wednesday evening." And we're like, what the heck have we just done? What were we paying all that money for? And sat in this hotel room for 3 days. He said, "But here's what you get to do instead. You get to commit to being accountable." So right now at the back of the room, the team is there. They have an accountability program that you can join. And that's going to keep you closer to this level of momentum and motivation. And much more importantly, it will have you follow through on the actions that are going to create the lasting change that you want. Isn't that amazing? I loved it. It was one of those moments that has stayed with me all my life. Never forget it. And that's why I'm so big on, putting a structure in place in your life that has you follow through in a structured way. Otherwise, do you know what? It just becomes wishful thinking. No matter how motivated you are, you can't rely on motivation. You just can't. No matter how much you want that change, how committed you are to it, it's not enough. It's just not enough. So that's why I'm so clear on the whole support, structured support, and accountability to really create transformation, lasting change. And the thing is, this is not necessarily saying there has to be something wrong with your life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're here for growth. We're here for growth. We get to grow in life. There's no standing still. There's only decay or growing. So we all get to grow. And that's a great thing because we all have so much potential. You have so much potential. You have so much potential. And it's the bringing it out of you that makes life interesting. There's always another level to get to in your growth and self-expression in life. More. It's a healthy thing. Yes, of course, you appreciate everything that you have, everything that you have created, everything you have in your life right now. Of course, that's a great foundation. That's a great place to attract more, to bring more of the same too. Is this making sense? So it's not like you're creating more and new from a place of, my life's awful. No, you create more from a place of appreciation. Appreciation. So you attract more to appreciate, more to be grateful about, more to feel good about. And here's the thing. When we look at that situation in Afghanistan, it's, how lucky are we? How blessed are we to be in a place of freedom and opportunity? No matter how hard we feel our struggles are, and I know there's always things, of course there are, no matter how hard our struggles are, we are the lucky ones. We are the lucky ones to have this freedom and this opportunity to create, to keep creating anew, afresh, more in our lives. There is no obstacle, truly, no obstacle greater that has more power than the obstacles we create for ourselves. Would you agree with that? That the greatest obstacles, this is the good news, by the way, guys, the greatest obstacles are of our own making. Our own making. So don't be an enemy to yourself. Don't be an enemy to yourself. Because if you are, you could be the most effective enemy in your life. And how awful would that be? I mean, how terrible would that be? So be a friend. Be a really good friend. Get on side. And here's the thing. Just think how great it would be to create prosperity, to create true wealth in your life. Because think about the great things that you could do with that wealth. Seriously. You see, it blows my mind when I think about these people with the vast wealth they have. Blows my mind. The Queen, Bezos, Gates, Zuckerberg, take your pick. That immense wealth that they sit on. Yes, I'm sure they do lots of things. That immense wealth that the Queen sits on. I mean, holy smolies. Just think about the incredible changes that you could make with that sort of money. So, hey-ho, we get to create wealth through getting out of our own way, doing great work in the world that people are so happy to pay for, being creative about how we work. So we get to create income from not always having to work every minute of every day. We get to be creative because we have that freedom and we have those opportunities. And we have that vast potential within us to bring out. So, creating wealth is a great thing because it gives you so much freedom, personally freedom, but it gives you so much scope to do great things with. It's a good thing. So if anybody's got money blocks, begin to clear them. Yeah, thank you, Diane. Lovely to see you there. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get out of our own way. Can I get a hell yeah to that? So today's the day. Take a decision and reach out to me. Reach out to me. And I'm so happy to jump on a call and have a chat with you and let you know the sort of things that we do that help with self-sabotage and the mastermind. You might be interested in our mastermind, anything like that. All right, my darlings, I'm going to love you and leave you. I am going to commit to regular times to be on here. I'm thinking Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, let me know, 5 o'clock, or 7 o'clock? What do you think? What would be your preference? And I'm going to set those times in motion. I had thought about Saturday morning, but I've just got a feeling that Saturday morning's maybe not the best time. That maybe y'all are at the gym or doing your yoga classes or Pilates or who knows what. Park runs. I keep meaning to do a park run. I've never got around to it, but you're probably doing other things on a Saturday morning. So my darlings, so great to be with you. Let me know any comments, any questions, any feedback, anything at all on all of this. And I'm absolutely pumped to do the boot camp. Pumped to do the boot camp. Boot camp or challenge. I can't figure out what to call it. But absolutely, we're going to do it over 5 days. The end, imposter syndrome forever challenge. Absolutely. All right, my darlings, I'm going to go. You have a great evening, great day wherever you are, and I will see you next time. All the best for now. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.